Good evening, fellow classmates. Mr. Watson. This is going to be my video dissertation on the different type of alarm systems, sprinkler systems of that nature. There's a few select points I want to make, and now I kind of incorporated. I'm also taking fire or private fire protection systems, so I kind of incorporated that knowledge too inside my video. And with Mr. Watson's consent, I want to post some of the videos that I use from that class down here, because it kind of breaks it down. It makes it a lot simpler. Instead of just looking at the book and you see all these things and you're like overwhelmed, the videos actually themselves are quite helpful. I don't want to say it dumbs it down, but it makes it quite simple. But this is going to be my video dissertation, and predominant in my zone, the type of alarm systems that I run on the protection systems. There's only one, actually, that most of them use, besides the deluge system in one area, but we'll get to that. So, for the, I'm not going to try and bore anybody. I don't want to speak too quickly, but I'm going to try to make this video a little fun. So, a fire alarm system, group of connected components that monitor and enunciate the status of automatic and manual initiating devices that activate notification appliances. Textbook. That's what that is. So, now, non-coded local alarm system. It's the simplest type of local alarm. Okay, this alarm sends a signal to the fire alarm control panel, the FACP. The signal is activated, and then it does not reset on its own. Okay, so you have to go there and you have to reset it. The downside of the non-coded system is that it's not capable of identifying the device that triggered the alarm. Okay, so like Mr. Watson said, we're going on a ghost hunt. Okay, some extensive walking is going to be needed, but usually non-coded systems of that nature aren't used in predominantly high traffic areas anymore, like large businesses, things of that nature. So zone alarms, okay, are a bit more complicated. They send a signal to a predetermined area, and the responders who are familiar with the various types of alarm systems within their zone go to the panel, and they're able to locate where the alarm was initiated or coming from. They're usually used in large complexes around most of these areas here. They're handled by third party. So the alarm company contacts dispatch. Dispatch notifies the first due company where it's coming from, the building, and they also make contact inside of the building and to notify occupants as well. And then usually a key holder comes in route, but we're going to get to that. So now pull boxes or manual alarm initiating devices, devices allow occupants to manually initiate the fire alarm signal. Okay, so this is if they see it or of that nature. This is solely dependent of automatic detection systems, solely dependent. So they may, however, the systems may notify local alarms, off-premises alarm signals as well, or both. It might do both. So they have to be mounted no less than 3.5 feet, no more than 4.5 feet above ground level. This is due to the American with Disability Act. People in wheelchairs have to be able to notify the alarm company as well, or pull the alarm. Primarily, the travel distances is not to exceed 200 feet. It's 200 feet, and they have to be posted 5 feet from each exit, and this is according to NFPA 72. And that's within every commercial structure. So they have to be within 5 feet of every exit. The old style glass and mallet that you break, it's no longer used. I was looking through codes as well because I was actually doing a walkthrough the other day, and I saw it wasn't even in a school type of that nature. It was in an ALF, a local ALF, and what they had done was they had put a thermostat cover over the alarm pull box, and I don't really agree with that. I don't even know if that's to code, but I was doing another job of the day, and I happened to notice it. I looked down, and it was just one of those covers that you put on like a thermostat to keep people from touching the air. They had placed it over this pull box, so I was just curious about that. Now, automatic initiating devices, there's a bunch. We're going to put it that way. Some of these require movement of water to activate within the pipe system. And now I can't get into that component, but the water would flow through the pipe. It would hit a certain type of not a baffle, but it's almost like a paddle, and the paddle would spin. and that would activate the alarm just because of your, is your sprinkler head activated of that nature, anything like that. Now there could be a loss of air pressure as well that would activate this system, and what that would do is, so I can't remember if it's 15 or 20 psi right off my head, but you lose that air pressure that's holding back water, because it's going to be a dry system when you use that, because there's air, CO2, charged in that device, and it would activate the alarm. And there could be a combination of both as well, or it could be like in your kitchens, your Class K extinguishments, it could activate that device as well, along that way. Now, subcategories, there are heat, flame, gas, and smoke detectors within the automatic initiating device subcategory. And I'm gonna go touch on one of them that I predominantly see in my zone. It's all I see. And what it is it's the heat detector. Now, predominant in my zone, heat detectors operate by sensing predetermined fixed temperatures. Okay, we all know that. Now, it varies in literature, but we don't see the zone or the rate of rise. Okay, we don't see any of those detectors usually at all within my zone. Rate of rise, it notices the quick elevation of temperature over a certain time period. They're usually preset to the time frame that it is. I believe it's over 30 seconds, but don't quote me on it. Now, here, we usually commonly use, they're slow to operate. The heat detectors are very slow, but they're cheap, and that's why they use them. They're cheap. So now, most of them are preset, and usually what I see is sprinkler heads with a frangible bulb, and the temperatures range from 135, and literature varies within. I've actually seen 3 different categories of temperatures that these are predetermined at. The colors stay the same, but the temperature is different. So you have ugly, white, blue, red, green, orange, in that order. And there's a little mnemonic that I use, but I can't use it for this class. So, and the temperatures are 135 to 170, 175 to 225, 225 to 275, 275 to 325, 400 to 475. And that was coming from the IFSTA fire standards book. That was what they used. So I never ever actually varied away from those numbers. And I know in this book it's a little bit different. So I like how I can remember just the 135 to 170, and they use like 139 or 149. They use the 9, so I like to stick with that. And it's all the same variance in temperatures, and the colors stay the same. So now these alarms, how it's activated, whether if it's somebody, usually we don't get activations of fire alarms very often. It's usually somebody working on the fire alarm system, and they decide not to notify anybody, and we go. Now, in our response zone, what we do is we respond to all fire alarms. First, respond. We do not go non-emergency. We respond. Some companies lay in to a fire alarm no matter what. We respond there because it's a fire until we deem otherwise, just so we don't get caught with our tails between our legs. And then a key holder predominantly comes as well. And if it's a fire alarm, we'll wait. And we don't see any signs of fire, anything of that nature, we'll wait for the key holder. But if there is signs of fire, we'll go to work, and we'll initiate another response, because they're usually commercial buildings, so we'll need a commercial fire response. But that is what I have. I know it's a very broad, but I think I covered the zone alarms, the non-coded locals, pull boxes and manual stations, how they differ from automatic initiating devices. I wish I had more in my zone that I could look at, but everywhere I went, I have one deluge system at the marina, and it's for foam operations anyways, which was nice because I got to see that all the way through. I was a brand new firefighter when they were building that marina. I got to see it all the way through. Really nice. But again, with Mr. Watson's permission, I want to post those YouTube videos below my link here, or below my video, and it really helps. It helps a lot. It's a great class. It takes the boring out of it. I can actually sit there and watch and recite what they're saying, and okay, that makes complete sense, because I never knew what FACP, how it was connected, and anything of that nature. So that's my video response, and thank you.